welcome into another episode of the Schmeat Nation 3 podcast powered by Power Director. I'm your host, Kieran Kale. With me, as always, is Adam Rocket. Welcome in to week 9 of the fantasy football season. My God, the five-way tie still exists, and I feel like I've never seen a league that is so split the way we are at this point in the season.
Yeah, this is extremely unprecedented, especially since everyone has such good records. Like, if there were a bunch of teams at like 5-3 and 4-4, I could see there being like a tie like this, but not at 6-2 at the top of the league. This is incredible.
It really makes it seem slim odds to crack into that sixth spot, but it's never over. I mean, crazy shit happens, but it definitely feels
Yeah.
like there could be
Just
some
going back to the
possibility.
five-way tie, like all of these teams deserve to be here. Like all of these teams have great players. It's not like one of these teams has a low points for. No, this is the top 5 scoring teams in the league. Normally in fantasy, someone low will slide in there with a good record, but this time it's
Yeah,
truly deserved.
it is crazy. A 110-point difference from the next guy who's in 12th. Like, oh my God. Sometimes it just happens like that. Like, I mean, the run is still possible. He hasn't been disqualified, but like, it literally has to happen now.
Yeah,
And that is
has to
just
happen now for a lot of
that's
people.
brutal. That's just the worst. I mean, that's the type of thing when Eddie talks to his coworkers about his team. He's like, "But I'm 6 in points for," it's like he's showing it off. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah,
dude, going into the projected playoff bracket, the points for is going to be huge coming in here. We got you and Connor with the
yeah,
bye. A bunch of us play each other in the final 6 weeks as well. It looks
yeah.
like being in the third spot's gonna be nice because it definitely seems like the top 5 are on a different level, but there's definitely not a gimme in fantasy football. So especially if someone can go on a run, some of these teams are putting up high points.
Yeah, I just wanted to say how important it is going to be to lock up that bye, because even from the third spot, playing against those 6 teams, anything can happen in fantasy football, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty brutal gauntlet to get to the finals this year. So locking up that bye is going to be oh so important.
Yeah, it is pretty nuts. I feel like we've had people go just nuclear. It's someone new every single week, so you love to see it there.
Yeah,
We
for
did
real.
have a trade, so we will always cover those. Coming in, we got a little bit of a bye week trade. We got Bradley sending Paris Campbell over to Seth, so Seth can field the lineup this week. And in return, getting a rookie tight end who seems like he's going to be one of the top dogs, Greg Dulcich. I think he's had 2 or 3 weeks, 3 weeks of just solid production ever since he started. 11
Yeah,
points
3 weeks
plus
in a
on
row
that.
being in the double digits is insane for a tight end. So he looks like he's going to be good. I think he was close to being into the end zone in London as well, so that would have been a big boost. But yeah, looking like the kind of mustache that I grow there with the no nose under the hair or no hair under the nose. But yeah,
He
you can
looks
never
great.
truly trust rookie tight ends, but Greg D might be the guy that you can.
With a face and hair like that, why not? On the show, we're gonna re-look at last week. We'll get our power rankings back up. We got a little additional segment here as we kind of get into the playoff push, and then look ahead to some next week. So let's jump right into it from last week. A killer matchup between me and Brad came out to be a lot closer than I thought it would be. Immediate payoff in the trade with yourself, Adam. Brad gets, but on the back of Deontay Foreman, absolute mega week, I end up squeezing it out. Super unlucky for Brad, but he's still at 2-6, so he's not totally
Mm-hmm.
out of it.
Yeah, especially with all of those teams fighting down there. I do really think that that 6th spot is still open for anyone to claim. I don't necessarily think Reese has he doesn't have that locked in by any means. I'd be lying if I said going into Monday night, I was hoping that Hayden Hurst would fumble and you would lose. Just because I think you were only up by like half a point or something. So my fingers were rooting for that. But yeah, once again, your team just dominant on the back of Derrick Henry. It's getting to be Derrick Henry season. So
Yeah, he's
you can
going
kind of
off.
start expecting those 30-point weeks to roll in. Yeah,
That's what I
not
need.
really much more to say on this. We were talking before this how AJ Brown only had two touchdowns all season before this, so it kind of sucks that he wasn't able to get a win off the back of that performance from that stack. So who knows if they'll be able to do that again.
Yeah, and pretty unlucky. I don't think there was much of anything. I think even if he would have had to put AJ Dillon in instead of Brian Robinson and Romeo Dobbs in instead of Paris Campbell. And that would have maxed him out on his possibilities. So plus 161 for Brad at this point. And he just got fantasied out there.
Mm-hmm.
Moving into the next game, and like this is just this, that is insane. Jasper's team is insane. Just one of those top five guys who seem to constantly put up over 150 and here 185 over Seth. Seth still in a really, really good shot in seventh place to get into the playoffs here, but not wanting to put up points like he did this week ever again.
Yeah, certainly. Alvin Kamara going back to doing Alvin Kamara things. He wasn't going to stay out of the end zone forever. I think I called for the 6 touchdown game in our last video, and he got halfway there in this one. So I'll take credit for that. But yeah, Brandon Ayuk seeming to be more and more involved in that offense. I guess Debo was missing last week, but they seem to be. Kyle Shanahan with Christian McCaffrey seems to be able to unlock the greatest out of all of those weapons in San Francisco. So I think he'll be viable moving forward. And Tyreek Hill again. He will play Detroit every week, but I don't think it really matters who Tyreek plays. I think he'll be great.
Yeah, and I don't think he's had his bye yet. He hasn't, but he is the wide receiver one now because he does have a game up on the other Cooper Cup and Diggs characters in the league. Nothing else
Mm-hmm.
Seth could have done. I mean, at this point, if you're battling for a playoff spot, you just don't want to see one of the guys in the top five. That's just an unlucky situation of schedule there.
Yeah,
And
that is unfortunate.
keeping the trend of dominating top five teams, you versus Max, and not even close.
Yeah, I think Dak Prescott, like coming off of that injury, that last week was his first week back, and he only put up like 14. But Dallas got way back to doing what Dallas does, I guess. And I looked at their schedule moving forward, and it looks pretty much like a cakewalk. So I'm hoping Dak can continue doing these types of performances. And talk about Jamal Williams, man. All that guy does is get multi-touchdown games. It's insane.
Yeah, he looks like the ultimate gem for you
He's
there,
having his LeGarrette Blunt season.
just going in. And then it feels like with some of the NFL trades going on that Amon-Ra should be more part of that offense there. So, like, kind of an off
Mm-hmm.
week from your receivers, but when you got Christian McCaffrey and everyone else going in around them, doesn't really super matter. A mega week from you, and just yeah, I don't know. Max's team definitely feels like it's trending down. He needs to kind of
Mm-hmm.
get lucky on the wire. The wire's looking pretty slim out here because Elijah Moore and Robert Woods, you don't want to see him in the flex, but he will get Kelsey back. So
Yeah, Justin Jefferson just isn't having the season that I think people were expecting him to have, being that number 1 or 2 wide receiver taken in the draft. He's had his pop off games, but it hasn't been as often as you want. And with Max losing Brees Hall as well, it's just a bit unfortunate for him. Yeah, I mean, he gets over 30 in half of his games, but you would at least hope that he was scoring at least 20 every week.
yeah, especially based on the players that Max has slotted alongside him. So we'll see
Yeah.
moving forward. Max, another guy who has a better chance than some of the other teams to battle for that
Hmm.
sixth spot. But
Truly.
certainly running away. And then a little bit surprising here, kind of an off game for Connor, but that's a testament to the team when you put up
He
139. It
did
was the
have
Eckler bye,
Eckler on
yeah.
by. Yeah.
But it's still all he needed to do and a lot more to take down Jamie here. I thought Joe Burrow would have been able to do a little bit more, and Josh Allen had an off game, but Cincinnati looks lost without Chase out there, and sometimes the Browns just have their number.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried for Jamie's teams because she's been waiting so long to get DeAndre Swift back. And I definitely don't think that he's going to be as involved as we were hoping. Like, I think based on where Swift was being drafted in the beginning of the season, you were thinking it was going to be like 70% his snaps. But I think the way that Williams is playing, they have to do like 50-50. Williams is just a beast. Going to Connor's team, what else is there to say? We say it every week. Advantages at every position. Wide receivers seem a little weak. Wide receivers did enough this week. Not really much more to say, in my opinion.
Yeah, all they do is seem to do enough. So we'll see what happens now. He's got the Chicago stack at receiver, so took a little bit of a hit there, but
But he gets
I mean,
Juju back.
yeah,
So
and you
we'll
know the
see
Bears
how.
are going to be down in every game. Moving into the closest matchup besides me and Brad, I think. Yeah,
Mhm.
right in line with me and Brad. Reese picks up a really, really big win now. This puts him 2 games ahead of all the people below him and secures a W over Kalen. Obviously, the Jamar Chase injury halfway through the week kind of took Kalen's ceiling out of there. He had to play Josh Reynolds, so you gotta assume that was the reason why he lost.
Mhm.
But that is football. Obviously, you'd like to rather hear about it prior to waivers, so you can use your top priority. But it is what it is. And Reese's team, I mean, this is just like kind of what he does. He just kind of puts up 120-ish, sometimes 130 on the backs of some solid wide receiver play, but not a ton of ceiling potential.
Yeah, I think his team will put up 20 more points if Stephon Diggs is the one that scores 20 more points. That sounds about right, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, he's
I don't know.
constantly
He
having
finally
young
dropped Jamison
quarterbacks.
Williams, I
I
think,
did see that.
at the waivers. Yeah.
We'll see that. He's
So,
got a tough matchup with buys this week. We'll see. I mean, obviously, you assume your QB does more, but sometimes you have the cold hand picking those up. There's definitely guys on the wire that he could have done. And into the game of the week that we thought, uh, had the chance to be an absolute blowout, but Eddie puts up a solid performance against Parker. Matchup of the week, that is. Ends up, it was that QB differential. He lost by 15 and a 14-point spread between Daniel
yeah,
Jones and Geno Smith. I mean, putting up
it's
150, you
unfortunate.
gotta feel good, but still loses.
Yeah. He had Patrick Mahomes on by. I think this is his second time putting up like over 120 points this season, so it sucks that it's a loss for him. You hate to see that. Um,
Yeah.
he'll get Debo back, but I guess Debo's on bye. Everyone's kind of in bye week or bye hell this week. I think there's 6 NFL teams on bye, so this is if you're facing a good team, you hope that they got a lot of those players on those bye weeks. So yeah,
Yeah. The good news for Eddie moving forward is he's got what should be a better chance at a win on the schedule right now. And then Parker's team, another dominant performance. I don't love the flex, which I feel like I say about a couple of the teams in the top 5, but then they just kind of consistently outscore me, though I guess Parker didn't this week. So what do I know when you have guys like this at the top of the roster? It doesn't super matter. Bit of an off week, but to still put up 165 because of your studs. That's what it's all about. And D Hop looks like just, I mean,
yeah,
that's
he's gonna get
unfortunate for
15
Eddie.
targets a game. Yeah,
Going
yeah.
against
That I
it.
mean, going back to that trade, that I mean, that's what I was worried about. Like D Hop, Arizona needed someone to throw the ball to with Marquise Brown going down, and it's not like Ertz demands over 7 targets a game, so it had to go somewhere, and it definitely wasn't going to be Robbie Anderson.
Yeah. Parker's team looks really, really set and really safe each week with Cup and Hopkins in there. Nice week for Tony Pollard. I mean, it really looks like he should be the the only running back in Dallas, but
Yeah,
what are you
but
gonna do?
Jerry, man, Jerry loves Zeke, so that team will go as Zeke goes. TJ Hawkinson also getting traded to Minnesota could be good for him, could be a lateral movement. Not much to say. I personally don't think TJ Hawkinson is that great of a tight end, but all of the NFL punt, oh my God, TJ Hawkinson, like top 5 tight end in the league. And I'm like, okay, well, not sure where that's coming from.
It could be just because tight ends just kind of got some shit position out there.
Yeah,
But yeah, it seems like kind of a lateral move for him. We'll see.
yeah,
Who knows? It's not like Kirk Cousins ever had a monster tight end. Like he had Kyle Rudolph and then Irv Smith. So maybe TJ is what they needed.
yeah.
Jumping on into the power rankings for week 9, which is just kind of sad to say, but a little bit of movement here. Nothing, I don't think, yeah, nothing in the top 5. I've got Reese. I think I'm pulling Reese down a little bit. He's on the bye week hell, so I
I
thought
am
he
a bit
could get
offended that you
in.
ranked me outside the top 5, having almost 200 more points, over 200 more points scored than Brad. That seems a little
Well, it's
brutal to
just
me.
this week. I like Brad's team this week more. Brad's definitely on a trending upward direction coming off a 161 week. I do love that one. I think without CMC, your team takes a bit of a hit. We'll look
Still
in
got
there.
JT in there, baby.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think very much. There's, I don't know. Is there too much to discuss about the bottom teams? Not really a ton of movement this week.
Yeah, pretty going through. I feel like we know who's on everyone's team at this point, so it's just kind of fun to see. A major injury could shift up some things at the top, but you never want to see those. So I'm down to move
Yeah.
right along in,
Well, we
and
got to show the game picks, man. What are you talking about?
oh shit, you
As
overtake
you
me with
guys can
game
see,
picks, and I
I
got too
took back
hypey.
the lead.
Huh?
Yeah. Kieran tried to hide away from his shame. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Get
I
fucked.
totally forgot on purpose. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a little shame because the Kalen and Reese game was close, and if he didn't have Jamar Chase, then I definitely wouldn't have picked him, and then we'd be even. But I'm willing to take that one because it seems like we're bouncing back and forth on those ones, and we're pretty good overall. But maybe that's just
Yeah.
because the top 5
We're
teams keep
predicting like
on winning. So
66%. Yeah.
yeah, we're pretty dominant. So that's how we do.
Yeah.
And moving in as playoffs hunt through, we got a strength of schedule prediction here moving in. Higher numbers means tougher strength of schedule, lower means easier schedule rest of the way based on opponent current win loss. Major takeaways, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a hunt here at the top 5 dogs. I think I play 4 out of 6 teams have a winning record, so can hopefully move myself up to the first position or slot myself in there at playing the first week of playoffs. We'll see for that. Unlucky for Jamie as well. She's got a tough schedule on the way out. A little bit of a
Hmm.
run watch here with Eddie. Eddie going up more bottom teams than top teams, and you as well for kind of securing that first spot.
Yeah. I'm glad that my strength of schedule, I think I only play 2 more teams with winning records the rest of the season. So that kind of feels nice. And one of them is this week on my bye week. So get that one out of the way. I think my strength of schedule will be the easiest in the league after this week. So yeah, hopefully I could pick up
Absolutely.
some extra wins on the way to the playoffs and secure that bye for myself. Teams that it'll be tough to go on a run, like you said, JV and Max and Seth. I don't know. Seems
Yeah,
a little bit lost at that point. But
they're up
hey,
there.
you never know. Anything can happen in fantasy.
And I do, as like my rankings suggest, like you're getting a lot of losses added onto your opponent loss category going up against Eddie and Brad, but I do think their teams are better than some other teams in the league. So I don't think they're as circled on the calendar as a free win as it might
As you would
suggest
hope.
by the record. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
moving in. But just something to look out for, something fun to see there. And let's jump into next week. Starting off with a bye week for myself.
Yeah. There's been a lot of shit being talked about matchup this
Yeah,
week.
I've hated Reese's team all season, and I mean, look at what he's fielding here. But obviously, we checked the bench. I think every single one of his guys on bye, so he's maxing out his waiver wire claims and priorities. And it just feels like there's not even a chance. He's gonna need all my guys to have some dud weeks, which can happen. It's fantasy football, but I think the running backs are a little too safe at this point for me. I might be able to beat him with three guys, so we'll see.
Yeah, it is really just truly unfortunate the team that Reese has to field this week, but sometimes it's just what happens in fantasy. And if you're gonna have a bye week, hell, get it all done with all of your studs at once. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
Reese is
think this is
definitely
a pretty
someone.
easy Kieran for me.
Yeah, I'll take myself as well. He's definitely I was telling him it's kind of nice. He goes up against someone he doesn't have a chance against, even if he was fielding a roster. Because this way he can have all his guys back for when he needs to be defending that sixth spot. So he's had an impressive run this far, but let's see if I can't open the door a little bit for some of our bottom six teams. I got you guys out there. I'll take myself as well. I get Jay Herb back, but Chargers are losing players left and right, so who knows how that's gonna look like. Hopefully Austin Eckler can get the dump offs.
Mhm.
Moving into another game, this one should be pretty good. We got the 3 and
Yeah,
5
this
Max up against 2 and 6 Kalen.
this game right here just feels like the injury bowl. It feels like both of these guys have just lost some key pieces on their team throughout the year. So yeah, unfortunately, the winner of this will probably keep their playoff hopes alive, but the loser, it could be over. I know Max has an extra win, so he'll still be alive, but these both of these teams need to start winning ASAP if they want to have a hope of making the playoffs. And unfortunately, I just don't think either of them have the firepower to really contend for that playoff spot. Max will get Travis Kelsey back in the lineup, so that'll boost up his projection a bit.
Yeah, you definitely
Um,
have the kind of inconsistency that you don't want to have is a theme with these two teams. You really never know what's going to happen. It's kind of shocking to see Tom Brady at 13. Is that just what you get when you play a bunch of games? Like, yeah, I mean, I guess he has one game of 31, but it's interesting he's flirting with QB1 numbers there because he's felt pretty bad on a week to week basis. But Justin Jefferson and Travis Kelsey can win him a week, and against some of the question marks that Kalen has, sometimes that can do it.
yeah.
Who are you taking in this one?
Oh man, he does have Taylor Heineke slotted in there, and for that reason, I think I'm gonna take Max.
Yeah, it's pretty
I've
tough.
rode Kalen a couple times this year, and I don't think I've ever won picking him. So I think I'm just gonna continue to fade Kalen.
Yeah, it feels like at this point it's a good move. I really don't
Him
want to
losing
do it, but I
Jamar
could
and
see it
just
winning.
the way that Cincinnati looked having just T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd out there, they just like it appears that T. Higgins just isn't a wide receiver one like we all thought he was. He's just the perfect two, it turns out.
Yeah, he's definitely a solid
That's
one
kind of
there.
my opinion on his team. He also has to start both Chicago running backs. Like,
Which works for you though. I mean it's gonna rely on David Montgomery. David Montgomery does kind of nothing, but Khalil Herbert's had himself a fucking go. He's player ranked 20. He's just been pretty solid. Guess he has a 30 if he
yeah,
brings him up, but the last 2 weeks he looks like the better runner. Uh, and for that, I'll take Kalen as well. I gotta come back into the rankings somehow, or I'll take Kalen. Not as well. And maybe Max won't slot in a kicker or Travis Kelsey. But that one should be close. There's no guarantee with
yeah,
these ones, but it does feel like it could be a Justin Jefferson 30-point week, so who knows?
yeah,
All right, and this one is another sneaky good matchup here. We got 6-2 Comrade Red Rockets going against the 2-6 Goober Nation. Let's ride. Brad trying to reignite his run after a little bit of a speed bump there, but he's just got another two-loss team to go against in Jasper this week. But his newfound stack of the century, and the Green Bay guys going up against Detroit. I think he has a good shot at this.
yeah. I do as well. Just having that many players going up against Detroit, they could all score 30 points. Who
They have
knows,
their
man? That
points to go
Detroit
around.
defense is just like Swiss cheese, hot knife through butter. Any offense that goes against it. Um, on Jasper's side, it's like Alvin Kamara seems like he's back now. All he was doing was missing the end zone, and now it appears that he's found it. So he obviously won't score 40 every week, but I think he'll start getting up there, and he'll be like having those games that got him drafted second overall the previous year. Josh Jacobs had an off week last weekend. Tyreek Hill goes up against Chicago, and Chicago gives up a lot of points too. I don't know, man. This one is really close. What do the buys look like?
Yeah, Jasper definitely has some guys on bye, which is he's got a questionable flex. Yes, he's starting Tyler Conklin in the flex, but against Buffalo, you imagine they will be throwing it a lot, and he's sixth ranked
Mm-hmm.
tight end on the season. I Yeah, I don't know. It's like as much as I want to ride with Brad, it's just like look at the player rankings and just the past performances. Like Jasper's team is insane, and I took too many gambles last week, so I'll go Jasper on this one.
Yeah, I like you said, I would love to take Brad as well, but I just I'm trying to guess the game right, and I think Jasper is going to be the one to take the dub this week.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because Brad can easily finish like he was top 5 or top 4 in points for last week, and he can easily do it again. But when you play against the top 3, top 2, top 1, as Jasper could be again, it's tough. I'd love to see someone start to go on a run, but it
Yeah,
might not happen.
Brad's got a couple unlucky weeks because I think he played me, then you, then Jasper. That's a tough
Oh,
stretch of schedule right there.
that is a vicious schedule stretch. It's unfortunate you couldn't get it rolling there early. That JT pick. Honestly, people who probably feel the worst in fantasy right now are the ones who were sitting there saying that CMC is too injury prone to take. That's that's shown that
Yeah,
that's not
you got
true.
to have the iron underwear, man. That's what fantasy's all about.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it was the safest pick, but uh, I thought it was a little bit of a beta move to not go with the balls deep. You only get one first overall pick, but I
Yeah.
don't think I saw JT doing this bad. I thought he would still just be top 5.
Hmm.
Moving in, we got a little bit of a run starter potentially for either of these two teams. We got Jamie at 2-6 versus the 1-7 Mahomes TikTokers. Eddie with the name change. Oh my God, I gotta open up this. What the fuck is Internet Edge? How do you open up in a new tab? Is it not even possible? I guess it's not.
I have no idea.
I need to go see Eddie's picture. We'll let that one load. But moving in here, Eddie trying to get his second win on the season. Hasn't won since he put up 200 points. He's wondering if that's what it takes to win in this league. But he is 6th in points found, so he's constantly delivering. And Jamie's just getting unfortunate here. DeAndre Swift hurt. A lot of the team on bye this week. She should look pretty good moving forward with Deontay Johnson now in a 2 wide receiver room, but I think this one could be tough for her this week. I don't like a lot of the names I'm seeing slotted into the wide receiver position.
Yeah, it really just depends on if Gabe Davis catches like 2 touchdowns in the first half because I can't imagine they'll be throwing a ton in the second half. Say what you want about the New York Jets record, but Zach Wilson just is not a good quarterback. He there's no way he'll be able to make a comeback against Buffalo. And I say that before we're watching the greatest QB of all time. We're gonna come back to this video in 20 years. Zach Wilson's still gonna be playing. Um, yeah, like you said, the wide receivers just look a bit rough, and with DeAndre Swift and everything, he's hard. I like Eddie's team. I think it looks a lot better than his record shows, but I still don't think it's like an incredible team. But yeah, I think that this is gonna be the week that Eddie starts his run or his attempted run. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
if he's
take
gonna
Eddie.
have it, I mean, you just get like a guaranteed 30 from Mahomes. They kind of only score through the air. Even their running backs catch passes. They got that little cheeky little jump thing. So
Mm,
you're just getting 6 points left and right from him. And unless Joe Burrow, like Jamar Chase is still there. I'd say Joe Burrow can take out the Mahomes factor and let it be just the bottom 9, but it just didn't seem like that last week. So a Carolina matchup that was slightly more favorable. And then like I think he has a bunch of people on bye as well, which is probably good for him. Like Deebo Samuel can rest up and all that stuff. So I like
Mhm.
his chances. I mean, strength of schedule, he's at the bottom, so he definitely can do it. But when you're at that point, you need other people to lose as well. So, but I'll take Eddie in this one. I think I'm gonna hop off. I think I was riding Jamie for a while, but I'm gonna hop off.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
take Eddie?
it's important for these bottom. Yeah, I took Eddie. Um, it's important for these bottom teams to like stop beating up on each other. One of them just needs to start claiming king of the bottoms, and whoever that if that is will be the guy that takes sixth. I do believe in one of these teams to make a run and pass up. Not necessarily one of these two, but one of the teams in the bottom 6 right now to come up and pass Reese's team. I think that's a strong possibility.
Whoa, he's calling it out. It's just like looking at the standings is just insane. It like he's got a 2-game lead. Like in fantasy, that's so many games. But he could drop 2 in a row
Yeah,
here. We'll
who
see.
knows?
Moving into another one. Another pretty unlucky schedule matchup here. At this point, Parker's team it just looks unstoppable. Like on paper, it's insane, and it's just so safe. Like Dallas Goedert's
Mhm.
always doing his thing, and then like Tyler Boyd now is going to get a lot more looks, so that rounds him out. He's still waiting on Keenan Allen to come back, but Cooper Kupp and D Hop alone, plus ETN's back. It's like this is finally a team where Parker looks like he has a shot at the trophy, not just a shot at making playoffs, and quite the turnaround for him. And
Yeah,
Seth's team's kind of
I
fine.
will say I do still think like right now it looks good, but once Jamar Chase comes back, which will be right around fantasy playoff times, he'll have to slide. I guess he'll slide Keenan Allen back in there.
And
And then who's
Cordell
his other flex going to
Patterson
be? Are you
could
going to
come
ride?
back. James
Yeah.
Conner, like these guys are good. Like
But I mean,
he's so
Atlanta's
set.
been feasting with all their rookie running backs. Who knows what kind of role Patterson will have?
I guess that's fair, but it's really Keenan Allen. But this could be one of
Yeah.
those things where it just lingers all year and he's out for the season. I just
Yeah.
wonder if it will matter. This Parker's team's so good. Playoffs are gonna
Yeah.
be
I
fun.
think I know where we're both going with this pick, but I'll let you pick first.
Yeah, I mean, and we should touch on Seth's team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, I mean, he's just tapped out. He's got the Reese thing going on. He was sending guy trades around just to get some players to play here, but against New England, will Paris Campbell make the difference? He's gonna need a pretty crazy fucking lineup of games to go well, just because Parker's team might be the safest in the league on a week-to-week basis. So I will
Yeah.
go with Parker. I love all the names. I still love Steph's team, but this week, especially with Chubb out, it's not going to start for him, I don't think.
Yeah, it's just that whole Devonte Adams factor where it's like when he's on, but that Vegas Raiders team just seems to disappear. And it's like a flip of a coin every week, whether or not they're on. Um, yeah, these running backs look rough. Like it's not even a given that Gus Edwards is playing this week. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Tough
that's a good
times
point.
for Seth, but I'm also going to take Parker.
The question is, would you go Seth plus 38.9?
Oh my God. You know what? I don't know if I would against this. Like, I feel like Parker's team averages 150, and I feel like they'll put up 150 to 160 every week. Like, this team from Seth could put up like 70 points,
I
like
think
he did last week.
he might just be eating it and then he might have the same thoughts as we do and keep Cowboys in there because you're not going to drop Cowboys and
Yeah.
I mean I guess you drop Donovan
But
Peoples
Donovan Peoples
Jones.
Jones went off.
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough for him. He might just be swallowing it. And then I guess come Monday, I mean who the fuck's playing on Monday? I can't even remember. But if come Monday he
It's
needs a
the
defense to
Baltimore
be
game.
close, maybe you drop one of these guys on bye. That's probably what he's
Yeah.
doing is if it's close, he'll go in. And moving in to the matchup of the week.
Versus
A top five tiebreaker matchup of the week. The 6-2 Marginal Mans against the 6-2 the Fightin' Deans. The co-host himself, Adam, taking on Connor. You would have beat him last week, but it might be a different story this week. But I still think this one should be a fun one to watch for everyone, especially to shake up a little bit the top five of the standings. Losing here could potentially have you be the only one at 6-3.
Unless Reese wins.
That's true.
But yeah, I feel like I am also unfortunately getting hit by a big buy with CMC on buy and Dak Prescott. I do feel like I have a decent replacement at QB. Having Aaron Rodgers against the Lions feels like that could be a big pop off get right game for the Green Bay Packers. They love to beat up on the Lions. Um, so, I mean, you would hope that Aaron Rodgers might be able to keep up with Josh Allen, but even with that matchup, it still feels like Josh Allen has every opportunity to outscore Aaron Rodgers. Um, yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think Jonathan Taylor will get back to his last year's form against New England, so we're just waiting that out as well. Um, yeah, not really sure what's going on with my flex at the moment with Isaiah McKenzie in there. It's either him or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I have him in there right now because I feel like to win this game, I need like as much pop-off potential as I can get. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that is
unfortunately, my
tough.
team being at, not 100% strength is really bringing me down here.
Yeah, I definitely love like the look of Connor's top to bottom, and it makes sense because he's got no one on buy, so he's slotting up the full guys. I think you have pop off potential. Like
Hmm
11.4 for Jamal Williams just seems aggressively low, but you are quite a bit down in the projected points there, so you're going to need quite a few people to go over. But Zach Ertz against the Seahawks, I mean, there's a lot of matchups that you like, and like we saw with Eddie versus Parker and a couple of the other matchups of the week, they've all been fairly close. So even
hmm
though the projections were far away, but this definitely like Connor, can it be the year where he crests into the first spot? He's been close so many times, but never able to really get the name etched onto the trophy. And having a number one quarterback and a number one running back and then a number two tight end
hmm
definitely seems like you
It
could
seems
do it.
like that's the recipe to get it done. Yeah. And with
Three top
TJ
10 running backs.
Hawkinson,
Well,
TJ Hawkinson being gone, it seems like Amon Ra will just gobble up all of the targets now. Like, who else are they going to throw to? I think DJ Chark is still out. Like, it'll have to be him if it's going to be anyone.
yeah, that is
Yeah, and
a good
hopefully
point.
with Mike Williams out, Joshua Palmer can put up a big number.
Yeah,
So
we're definitely getting a
there's
playoff
definitely hope
preview
on
here.
my end, but I think I'm going to do the unprecedented and pick against myself.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know. I
go with
just don't
Connor
see
as
it
well.
happening this week. I like Connor's team way more than I like my team this week. So,
Yeah,
and
you
like I
lose
said,
a
I'm trying to
lot
win.
of the carry potential with CMC out. He's having himself a comeback year all years, and there's not a lot to get excited for outside of your every week starters there. So, on Connor's side, I mean, like the wide receivers, it never looks great. But I guess at
But
some
it
point we
looks
have to
good
start
enough.
saying that it is, because it's like, wide receiver three, wide receiver two,
He's got Juju on the bench too, and
Juju's down there,
he's
he's
been
wide
going on.
receiver
It'll
three,
be
so
interesting to see how involved Kadarius Toney is by the end of the season. If that takes something away from Juju, it's really tough to say. I don't
yeah.
know.
And I mean, we saw Connor stumble a little bit, 140, I think he put up last week, so uh had a
That's
beatable week there,
yeah,
but it's still huge in comparison to the rest of the league, and that could be a lot for you this week.
true, true.
I'll take Connor as well to win there.
Yeah, we're matching on a lot of our picks this week. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah, at some point I can't be going crazy with the picks every single week, so
Yeah.
one last look at the five-way tie, challenging everyone to try and get back in it. 2 games behind Reese, though. Man, would things get fucking wacky if Reese upsets me this week? Because it could be a
That would
3 game
put a lot of teams at
stretch.
6-3. Then there would be 3-7-2 and 3-6-3 teams.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe it needs to happen. And I also think Seth and Max have tough matchups this week. Or Seth does for sure. So it's kind of all eyes are on Max. Can he beat? I think he plays Kalen, so we just
Yeah.
saw it, but I forgot it already. So that should be exciting. The playoff runs really coming through. I still can't believe this. I go look at this way more times than I should because I just think it's fucking hilarious. So
Yeah, it's crazy how it works out sometimes.
it is pretty damn nuts. So
Look at me up there with the lowest points against. Some might argue that that's an advantage, but I do have the second most points for. So
both of those are advantages for sure.
yeah,
Oh man, what a week! It's quickly coming up to
yeah,
playoffs and then to the end.
over halfway done with the season. Yeah, it's time to really start thinking about playoffs. It's time to really start getting into the nitty gritty, the shit talking. That's when it
When the
really
money
goes up.
the money comes down to it all, gets on the line.
Yeah.
NFL trade deadline just went through, so I had to check our trade deadline. It is December 2nd. So if people plan on making moves, you still got a whole month to do it. So,
Hmm.
which seems like a lot. Maybe it is a lot. We'll see.
Yeah. I
But good
do think
luck,
it is.
everyone. Good luck, Schmeat Nation 3. We'll see y'all out there. Any parting words?
Uh no, should be a good slate this weekend. So hopefully we get to see some close matches.
Yeah, I'm excited. Definitely feels like our league leveled up this year. Maybe it's the weekly videos actually coming in, but I also think the chat is just active. So thanks everyone for that. And the trades are also active. So
Hmm.
it's a good year in the league, a good year in the
Active league, active league for sure.
All right. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you around.
Yep.